Nagaland State Disaster Management Authority para National Disaster Management Authority logo de miligina April 29 aro 30 de Nagaland Emergency Preparedness Exercise lobole ase. Etu disaster ahia homoy tayar thaka aro emergency response bhal kuribole nimide ase. Press briefing dia de Nagaland Government Secretary Senti Wapang Ayer, Johnny Rongmai, Joint Chief Executive Officer, NSDMA Aro Medojali Piena, DCG Home Guard, Civil Defense and SDRF pra Sapar Kurishi ki itu exercise to mock preparedness drill he ase aro disaster ahia laga prediction na hoy. Itu nimide manukan panic no hobole lage aro rumor na filabi kuishe. Exercise to April 29 laga morning 10 baji pra shuru kuribo State Emergency Operations Center, Capital Convention Center, Kohima de. Itu pichide April 30 pujor 8 baji pra 12 baji tak state jaga sopte mock exercise thagibo kuishe.
Thank the officials from different media organizations for giving your time as well as sparing your time and then to have this media briefing regarding the upcoming NAPEX, which is the 8th edition. Now, as you all know, you must have already come across, we have been doing this exercise for the last several years. And then this year is going to be the 8th edition, where we'll be having the double top exercise on the 9th and then the actual NAPEX exercise on 30th. So for this, I'll just give you a brief. And then after that, I'll hand over the explanation, the details to our colleagues. So the Nagaland Emergency Preparedness Exercise, that is called the NAPEX 2026, 8th edition of the state level preparedness exercise, is being organized by the Nagaland State Disaster Management Authority, NSDMA, Home Department, with support from the NDMA, that is the National Disaster Management Authority. This exercise will simulate a scenario involving earthquake and extreme weather disasters in Nagaland. The exercise is conducted to test the state readiness or the preparedness, strengthen coordination among the departments and response agencies, and to improve the effectiveness of emergency response system in the state. NAPEX 2026 is being implemented in phases. Number one, a capacity building program was held on 22nd April through VC with the consultant from Delhi. So we have already done that. And then next will be followed by the tabletop exercise, that is will be on 29th April at the State Emergency Operation Center, SEOC. Side by side, emergency centers of the district level also will be involved. So side by side we'll be having the tabletop exercise, which will review the plans and coordination mechanisms for the exercise to be conducted on 30th. So the state level mock exercise, which will be conducted on 30th April, involving activation of response teams and demonstration of coordinated emergency actions. Operation, another phase, this time, we have what we call it as what we have termed it as the Operation Night Guard, which will also be conducted on the 30th evening, starting 6:30, which will be a civil defense preparedness activity involving siren activation and temporary blackout measures to test the emergency alert system and public responses in case of an air raid. So that is one addition that we have included this time. So the conduct of the NAPEX and the Operation Night Guard signifies the state government's commitment to strengthen the disaster preparedness and ensure the safety and resilience of the communities. So this is a short brief of the whole exercise that we'll be doing. The details will be shared by our colleagues. However, we would like to say that we have this briefing to sensitize the public. So this is very important. many a times, public are not aware of what is happening. Now, we cannot predict a disaster. So when disaster comes, we want our people, the state, everyone to be ready. Ready in the sense, prepared to react, to act. So this kind of exercise simulates some incidents or some events. Unless until we are ready with this kind of exercise, we somehow will be caught off guard. And then disasters, we all know, doesn't come with a few days warning and all this. There are few things which we can say that there will be rain, there will be heavy storm tomorrow, day after. Those are normal things. But disasters, as such, we all know, it certainly happens. So this awareness we want to create, even with the simulation, so that anything that happens anytime, we are ready for it. So with this note, I'd like to hand over to my colleagues for the details. Thank you.
Sir, Secretary of the NSDMA Home Department, Sir Medo, the Commandant General of the Home Guard and Civil Defense and the State Disaster Response Force, our media fraternity, representative from the media houses across the state. It is a privilege and also a responsibility to share these thoughts with regard to the 8th edition of the NAPEX 2020-26. This year, we will be again simulating earthquake and extreme weather events for the statewide exercise. Now, this year what we are looking at it is we are looking at a very, very realistic event that could happen if, you know, the earthquake of the past are to be expected. Now we are looking at the epic center at Pifima. Because why we put it Pifima? Because there is the fault, you know, the earthquake seismic fault line lies in that belt. So that's why we are trying to simulate an earthquake magnitude of 7.7. In the epic center, we will put it at Pifima. Now, if you look at Pifima, it will be 100 kilometers long rupture along the Naga, this Disang, you know, thrust system. It is about the geological structures that I'm saying, and then rupture from Kohima south north towards Waka Jinagoto. That is the area that we are looking at it. Now, if you really look at it, the cities, if you put it Pifima as the peak center for these simulations, Dimapur is just 16 kilometers away. Then Kohima is 27 kilometers away. Peren is 30 kilometers away. Waka 55. Phek 65 kilometers away. Jinagoto 71 kilometers away. Mokoksung 91 kilometers away. Kifri 99. And Tuansang 109 kilometers away from the peak center. In case if that kind of natural calamities, the earthquake happened, you know, these are the districts which is going to be very badly impacted. Now we have also look at the secondary casualties that we are going to do. Like what Sir was saying, during the tabletop exercise, which is to be held on the 29th at 10 a.m. at our State Emergency Operations Center. I think now our new location for the State Emergency Operations Center is in the Capital Convention Center, just opposite to the Civil Secretariat gate. So we will have it there. So now what the situation that we are going to simulate is a strong earthquake of magnitude 7.7 earthquake occurs at 8:03 a.m. now on, let us say, 30th April. The entire Nagaland, especially Dimapur, Kohima, Mokoksung stretch is badly affected. That is the scenario that we are going to simulate. Then widespread destruction reported from many areas, report pouring in from many government and private buildings, severely damaged, and many fire outbreaks reported, numerous people rendered homeless. So those are the scenarios that we are going to simulate. Then reported damage to a major FOL, then gas storage facility leading to a major fire. The tremor further triggered a landslide in all these, neighboring districts. Then injured shifted to hospital, medical systems overstretched. That is another scenario that we are going to do. Then here, the identified scenario, how the responsible departments, line departments, agencies, or community, how we are going to react. That's what we are going to look at it on the 29th. Then we will also look at the activation of the incident command post in different places. And if the earthquake happens, we can expect that the normal channel of communication today that we have, the telephone line, the mobile networks, will all collapse. It will be blackout. So now, how are we going to relay this damage report from the districts, from the fields, from the incident site to the State Emergency Operations Center? That's how we are going to do. And we will be using the ham radio network and the police wireless network we are going to sync. So we have the 17 ham radio stations now already installed in all the districts. So we are going to use that network, sync with the police wireless communication systems. Then you may also ask, how are we really looking at the casualties? We are looking at, since we don't have the latest census data, we are using 2010 census data. So in that context, we have categorized the districts band A, B, and C, the impact that we are going to look at it. Suppose the A category is based on the populations, the size of the populations. Dimapur, Kohima, Peren is the A category, and also the proximity to the epic center. So Kohima, Dimapur, if you really look at it, Dimapur populations maybe at the moment must be around 4 lakh something, 4,38,625. Let us say this is the population of Dimapur. Then if the magnitude of this earthquake happens, there could be a death of 1,754. That is the simulation that we are looking. But this is a very realistic calculations. Then the injured, hospitalized could be 5,262. Then homeless, homes being toppled down, destroyed. 87,729 people will be homeless. So this is the scenario that we are creating it. I'm taking the side example of Dimapur. Now, how are we going to react? Now here, hospital. How are we going to accommodate relief camp? How are you going to look at the disposal of the dead? Now, how are you going to look at the infrastructures that is being damaged? Maybe bridges and roads will be all disrupted. So how are you going to respond and do the operations? So this is one scenario that I'm making it. So we will have it, these numbers in the different locations which we will be simulating. So we will interpret numbers as planning order figures useful for the disaster risk reduction, and also we will also analyze our capacities. So when we say our capacities, it is not only the government agencies or the government departments, but our capacities, like what Sir was saying, how the church, the biggest platform, come into picture. How our communities, we say that the Naga society, the community fabric is very strong. How are we going to capitalize those strong community fabric that we have? Then how are the NGOs and civil societies reacting to this and supporting to the government agencies who are on ground operating? So this is the scenarios that we are going to look at it. Then the number of people that we are going to involve is all the line departments, all the government missionaries. The NGOs will be involved. Some of our volunteers like NSS, Bharat Scouts and Guides, NCCs, these volunteers also will be involved. And this year now, since this is the 8th edition, we also have a lot of learning from the past 7 years. So we are incorporating that and learning. So we hope that we will be able to react to that kind of scenarios that we will be simulating for this exercise. Once again, like our secretary was requesting, that we would like to please kindly carry this message. This is not a prediction, because last year I think that NSDMA is now announcing that the earthquake is going to come on. Which date was that? Yeah, it is running around in the WhatsApp group, nah? So we want to avoid all those things in order to avoid creating unnecessary panicky. So that is one of the reasons that we're having this curtain raising event of the press conference for this event. We would like to please kindly carry this message that this is not a prediction. This is an exercise for us to prepare how do we respond to in such an event. Now, if the earthquake occur, suddenly landslide will happen. And we never knew, so rain also may come, flood also may come. No? So fire will always be there. So that's why we are saying that earthquake and extreme weather events. So that's what we are trying to do. We would like to request you once again to please kindly carry this message. It is not a prediction, but an exercise that we are doing as a preparedness measures. We want to request you who are here today, and also to your friends who will be in the districts, to please kindly help us spread this message again. On the 29th, the tabletop exercise, as Sir was saying, on that day, we will have it at the state level physically, but all the district will join online for the event. And on the mock exercise day, we will be also creating a live streaming line in order to just see how we are reacting. So there will be some few locations that will be identified. There will be 7 to 9 sites identified in each of the districts, 7 to 9 incident sites. It will be involving the government offices, school, marketplace, and residential area, and also the oil and gas stations, especially in Dimapur. So 1 or 2 locations we will be identifying to simulate this event. So we want to request you again to please kindly come and join us. Since this is a mock exercise, and like previous years or so, press briefing may not be in time, lunch may not be in time, and then some of you are still covering the operation site, and then the debriefing started at this one. So that may be there. So we would like to also please kindly request you to bear with us in the shortcomings that is expected even during the mock exercise day. Some of you must be in the field and debriefing is going on, you're not coming up in time. All those inconveniences also may be there, but please kindly bear with us even for that one. So I'm giving an advance request to you to bear with us. Yeah. So I think this is for the NAPEX 8th edition 2026. Little detailed informations regarding the scenario. As I was saying, that simultaneously we will be also having an air raid blackout, and that operation name we call it Operation Night Guard. So that details how we are going to do. Our Sir Meadow, who is the Commandant General of the Home Guard and Civil Defense and the State Disaster Response Force, will be sharing the step-by-step simulation that we are going to do for that exercise in the evening.
Thank you. I will carry forward the second exercise. This second exercise is going to be carried out as per the direction from the MHA Government of India and state government, and it has been decided that we have to dovetail this exercise, which is the civil defense air raid and the blackout mock exercise, on 30th April 2026. And for your information, I would like to make the things clear that this will be carried out only in the 10 civil defense districts of Nagaland. We are having only 10 civil districts in Nagaland, and these districts are Dimapur, Kohima, Mogokchung, Wokha, Zunubato, Mon, Phek, Pinsang, Peren, and Kifiri. And this Operation Night Guard, this civil defense air raid and blackout exercise, the exercise will commence at 18:30 hours. The exercise scenario will be, there is a drone attack in this 10 civil defense district causing structural collapse, fire outbreak in the buildings, casualties are there, there is panic among the civilians, and so we will require the services, the responses from the fire service, search and rescue operations, evacuation of civilians, setting up of temporary first aid posts and hospitals, crowd control, traffic management, etc. The objective of this exercise is to see that how we carry out these air raid and blackout protocols and see how our sirens are functioning, how the communication system is put in place, how the interdepartmental coordination is there, and more importantly is how the public responds to this exercise. This is very important. Then we evaluate the response time, readiness of the emergency services, and validate the IRS-based command structure and identify the gaps through this exercise. Identifying the gaps through this exercise is very, very important. The simulation will be, as mentioned, the air raid blackout exercise will commence at 18:30 hours, and the blackout period will be only for 15 minutes. The blackout period will be only for 15 minutes, that is 18:30 hours to 18:45 hours. And the sequence will be, we have the Regional Civil Defense Control Center at Jorhat. So from Jorhat, this information will be passed to the SEOC that there is an incoming air raid in the 10 city towns. This information will be disseminated to the respective 10 district emergency operations centers, and immediately the DOCs will alert the sirens. They will alert the sirens, and through which the line departments, the response departments, and the public will be made aware that there is going to be an air raid. So they should take the measures, the blackout measures. Now, once the siren is sounded, which will last for about 3 minutes, then the blackout measures will be carried out throughout these 10 city towns, and except for essential services like hospital. Lights should be switched off, inverters and other source of illumination should be switched off. Then after this 15 minute, at 8:45 hours, an all clear signal, siren will be again alerted for 2 to 3 minutes, which is an indication that everything is now all clear, that impending whatever action has been taken, the raid has been carried out, and enemy crowds have gone back. So now everything is clear. So after 18:45 to after that 15 minutes, now all stakeholders which are mandated in the IRS assembles in the respective SEOC and the respective DOCs in the district. These DOCs, in the DOC, the receiving of information will be through the CD wardens, and this year through a scheme from the Ministry of Home Affairs DGCD's office, 3,600 CD wardens and volunteers have been trained in these 10 city districts. So these CD wardens, who are normally the head of the colonies, who are responsible members of the colonies, and responsible members of the colonies who are the CD volunteers, through them the information will be disseminated to the DOCs and of the area, the location where the structural damages have occurred, has happened, where is the fire outbreak, the casualties, and all these informations. Now, DOC receives information from the city wardens on the impact of the location of the air raid. Then the DOC starts informing the State Emergency Operations Center regarding the impact of the raid, and also simultaneously dispatches the response teams like the fire service, SDRF, medical team, police, NCC, etc. And finally, after all these things the rescue things are done, all the response activities are done, then that is between 19:30 hours to 20:30 hours, debriefing will be there in the SCOCs and the DOCs. So this is it regarding the civil defense air raid and the blackout exercise on the 30th April. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Johnny and Ulo. Now, before we wind up, I would like to just want some time for any discussion or queries from the Mr. Fraternity, because we must have already experienced certain this kind of home bills during the past years. So we would be actually happy to get some feedbacks from you also, whether we need to add up something or go for more information or any other thing. So these are things which we would like to request you, and then if you have any queries regarding this conduct of the home exercise, so with this time to you.
So, are we going to use chopper service also in the exercise? Chopper service.
Chopper service, definitely. This the chopper service that we have now is the the Ambi Aviation, which is a state chopper service through the State Department, state government. We have engaged them. So this particular, it is from the Ministry of Home Affairs. It is supposed to be used for a few things. That is for regular passenger services, VIP services, and emergencies. So emergencies would mean medical emergencies or in times of disasters. So it is open to be used whenever it is required. The present chopper service that we have.
We have already simulated this exercise for seven times. So this is the 8th time. So what do you see the major gaps have been there in the past that you have taken up from the past experience, and now you are making an improvement on this?
Yeah, the major gap that we have identified is one, the communication channels. That is one that we are. So this year, last year's and previous years, if you really look at it, we were pulling in all the, military defense wireless like Assam Rifles and BSF. But BSF line cannot even connect to Sataka. So that is the challenges that we have. So this year we are bringing an alternative of ham radio. So NSDMA, we will have around more than 29 ham radio operators licensed ham radio operators. This year we have already trained. So we will be using that network. Then another gap that we identified is, of course, the hospital. Now, as you know, our hospital, especially in Kohima, how many hospitals we have the capacity? Of course, now we have the medical college. Of course, in the years to come, we will surely have the capacities, more bed strength and all those. But in the event of any eventualities, that is the challenge that we will always look to. Even this time, so that challenge we will not be able to really fill up that gap to address. But that is one again another challenge. The third one, major one, is in the event of road destructions. How do we do it? No? Because if the weather is clear, when the road landslide comes and block the communication, the transport, then at least some choppers will be there. But in case if there is a cloudy day and rain is there, how do we? No? That is another always a challenge, because our terrain is very hilly, unlike other plain area. So even the operation of helicopter will be a big hindrance during such eventualities. Yeah. So these are some of the gaps that we have identified, and we will still see how do we address them.
In this case, how well prepared do you think the state has become over the past years to face a major disaster striking the state anytime?
I think the leap that we have created from this exercise for the past 7 years, this will be the 8 years that we are doing it. Not that we are not doing before, but we were doing it in a smaller scale. But as a statewide, one-day exercise, this is the 8th edition. So some of the lessons or the capacities of the preparedness that we have built up is, okay, in the eventualities of this, how the hospitals themselves will get ready. In the event of this, how are we going to really address now the road sector? If there is a road blockages, how do we pull in from different resources? Then another lessons that we have learned is in the event of resource crunch here in the States, which are the nearby locations that we can really plug into for immediate support. So those are some of the lessons that we have learned during these past years.
Citing two examples of the natural fire, the wildfire that happened in Zuku. With that also, has the department taken up any step? Because we could see that it took days and days to control those fires also. So how is the department putting itself in a position to control those kind of fires also?
That one, the measures will come up. Saros will
Yeah,
add on.
so that one, while talking about the chopper service, it is not only the state chopper service that we have, but this time we have, even previous year also, we have used the, in the area, the Indian Air Force, which is based in Shillong and from Johor. So we have made use of that. So these are all in place actually. So long as we put the negotiation, the central government, the Air Force, they are also ready to come in. So these are things that we already have. Now this SOCO and all, we have been discussing with the district level, that is at the DMA, because it falls under Kohima, the DMA. It happens not only in Kohima, but in isolated incidents in other districts also. So this is one thing which we have seriously reviewed. So we have had an initial discussion. So perhaps in due course of time we'll come up with certain modalities, because ours is something where we cannot, as a government, totally enforce it. We'll have to take in rope in the communities, the villages, and so on and so forth. So with this, we plan, supposing, for example, in Togo, we have been discussing that unless and until there is a guide, the trekkers should not be allowed to go on their own, roam free, something like that. So those kind of regulations, they are also doing in their own level, but there are some gaps perhaps. So this one we need to discuss further and then make sure that this kind of incident doesn't happen, because it is a drain for all of us, the society as well as the government also. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of manpower, a lot of resources. So we have been seeing that it has been happening for the last many years in Subo especially. So this is something which we have seriously taken up, and then perhaps we will be able to come out with certain modalities in line in consultation with the area and the village councils there.
Any options coming from this exercise?
Yeah, we have the consultant who is in charge of all these exercises. One retired Major General. And then along with him, in the state level and as well as the district level, he'll be nominating these observers. So in different levels. So this one we are on the job now, and then will be identified with a few days. They will observe how we are conducting the mock exercise. So that is one thing which will be happening.
Even the technical ministries like Geological Survey of India, the Indian Meteorological Department, all these officials will be involved. On the 29th, they are coming for the tabletop exercise.